Proton reduces the X70's engine size from 1.8 to 1.5, and it's perfect. Proton had decided to put their 1.5-litre engine, which is now locally assembled in Tanjung Malim, and the 7-speed twin-clutch gearbox into the Proton X70. And we took a drive from KL to Desaru with other members of the media to find out how this powertrain behaves on our roads. Here's what happened. Before we get into the experience from behind the wheel, here's what you need to know about the car. The engine is a direct injection turbo unit which was first introduced for the X50. Do not just think because it's a 1.5, the output will be something similar like the Iris's engine. This thing is really powerful, especially because of its torque output. Torque is what gives the car its acceleration power, and this engine has a lot of it. In fact, it's got more torque than these cars. Making best use of the torque is the 7-speed twin-clutch gearbox. These double-clutch gearboxes are very responsive and make best use of the torque available. You save 60 kilos from the 1.8-litre variant, and the torque comes in at a lower RPM too in comparison to the 1.8. On the outside, you can notice that the flagship 2022 variant has blacked out front and back bumper inserts and the SE rims that comes as standard. Now that you're up to date with the car, here's how it behaves on the road. After a short blast over the Lekas Highway and the Temyang Pantai Highway, we reached our first B road stretch. It's on Route 86 where the car started to come alive. The low-end torque delivery and the lesser weight over the front axle allowed for easy overtakes and smooth handling over the twisty uphill roads. Since our next stop was Malacca, we decided to use the back roads exclusively. Here, the 1.5 TGDI engine's power band and the X70's talented chassis came alive. The thick low-down torque band and the super responsive gearbox allowed for great fun on the back roads. Overtakes of multiple vehicles were dealt with ease, and even elevation did not bother the car's pace, despite the 1500 plus kilo curb weight. Even after adding 30 plus kilometers of pure B roads driving, we only reached 15 minutes later to the lunch venue, while the others used the highway. On the highway, we got to test its cruising and high-speed overtaking capabilities. From 90 kph to 130 kph, you have a pretty strong response and overtaking ability. The rev needle hovers about 2500 to 3500 RPM and drops from the 7th to 6th gear for easy overtakes. At 130 kph, the instantaneous fuel consumption figure hovered between 7.5 to 7.8 litres per 100 km. It's beyond 150 km per hour where you notice the lower cc's drawback. That's when it strains to gain speed in comparison to the 1.8 X70. We noticed two other major highlights between the 1.8 and the 1.5 X70s. First is the whooshing sound we reported about during the drive of the 1.8 X70. That whooshing sound is no longer there in the 1.5-litre cars, giving a more comfortable environment for the backseat passengers. Second is more of a similarity than a difference. You can't really tell that this is a 3-cylinder car on the highway. It does not transmit any excess vibration that are common with 3-cylinder cars. If you were to do a blind test, it's going to be hard to tell if it was the 1.5 or the 1.8 variant. And that is a good thing. Before the drive, we thought the 1.5 will be a worthy addition to the X70's range. At the end of the drive, we feel like it's the logical variant of the range. Because in our return journey, it got us from Desaru to Protons Centre of Excellence in 3 hours 4 minutes, with just one tank of fuel. This is the critical part. Although we were cruising at a constant high speed, We did not get tired or worn out due to 3-cylinder vibration or due to constant revving to overtake. It cruised very comfortably. All 3 occupants had wonderful conversation throughout the journey, and by the time we parked, the fuel consumption meter read 10.1 litres per 100 km. This is what an SUV is supposed to do, and the X70 1.5 TGDI does it so well. We will investigate further on its handling dynamics and optimize fuel consumption for urban areas once we get hold of the test unit. Until then, let us know what you think about the X70 1.5, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel.